Stories of Great Christians. From its radio studios in Chicago, the Moody Bible Institute greets its friends everywhere with Chapter 11 of Francis Asbury, the transcribed story of the Circuit Riders. The travels in America had begun, which would take Francis Asbury nearly 300,000 miles. He had been appointed as John Wesley's general assistant in the colonies, a position that required him to keep constantly on the move and see that proper missionary and evangelistic activity was maintained. His youth and what seemed to some an uncompromising attitude did not win him many friends. In fact, dissension arose as soon as he arrived in Maryland. It concerned what may appear as merely a technical matter, the question of where the sacraments of communion and baptism were to be received and by whom. And yet it was a question that in time would divide the entire Methodist movement and eventually bring about a distinctly American Methodist organization.
Good morning, Mr. Asbury. How are you feeling today after your strenuous travels?
Much better, thank you, Mrs. Triplett. I had a good night's sleep.
Your forehead isn't burning up with fever as it was yesterday.
Not after such good nursing as I've been getting. You've been very kind to me.
Oh, I don't know about that, but I've raised 5 strong sons, and I think I know what to do about bad colds. Why, you could have died of inflammation of the lungs.
Well, I think that danger is past now.
You never can be too careful. After all, it's January, not spring, and if you continue riding through snowstorms as you have been, you'll not live long enough to preach.
You sound exactly like my mother.
Well, sometimes young men need mothers to tell them what to do. Oh, I forgot to tell you, Mr. William Moore stopped by this morning to see you. You were asleep, so I told him to come back later.
Mr. Moore? I don't believe I know him. Who is he?
Mr. Moore's more or less our leader in the society.
Sit down, Mr. Moore. I'm glad you stopped by to see me.
I'm glad you're feeling better, Mr. Asbury.
Oh, I'll be on my feet very soon. Perhaps tomorrow, if I can convince Mrs. Triplett that I'm well again, that is.
She's a hard taskmaster, isn't she?
She won't let me leave the room even.
She means well.
I know she does, and I appreciate it. Mr. Moore, I'm doubly glad you stopped because I want to find out a few things about the society. I understand you're its leader.
Yes.
Well, tell me, where do you meet?
Well, for the time being, we've been meeting in my house.
Oh, I see. You have a large place?
Oh, we can take care of at least 50 people.
This isn't your only meeting place, is it?
No, sometimes we meet in the homes of other of the members.
Mm-hmm. Well, I take it then that your society is mostly for members.
Oh, of course.
You don't do anything to reach the ungodly and irreligious?
Well, you see, we're very few in number, Mr. Asbury. We try to do our best, but, well, we're just handicapped by numbers.
Who is in charge of your women's work?
Women's work? I'm afraid we don't have any.
And is there someone in charge of your male groups?
Sir, we have no leaders of any special groups. We just meet from time to time for prayer and reading of the Word.
Well, that, of course, is always laudable. From time to time, you say. Don't you have regularly scheduled services?
Oh, no, sir.
What about a circuit? Do you have a circuit?
I'm afraid I don't understand, Mr. Asbury.
Well, do you ever get outside of Baltimore for meetings? Do Do you have a regular plan which you follow in reaching the nearby towns?
No, sir.
Well, I see where a great deal of work is necessary here.
What do you mean, sir?
Mr. Moore, I'm grateful for what you've done in leading the society here, but it isn't enough for a group of believers to meet spasmodically here and there without an organized plan for reaching the lost. After all, we're saved to inform others of the salvation we have so freely received. If we have something that's so extraordinarily good, we should share with others. I must talk with your people as soon as I'm up and around. I am very grateful to God for this opportunity of working with you. And in order that we may be as successful as possible in fulfilling the commands of Christ, I want to offer you a plan of action. It isn't enough that we fold our hands and rejoice in our own salvation. It must be shared. It must be told to others. Hence, having been sent here as your leader, I hereby announce that beginning next week, our services will be regularly scheduled. On Sundays, we will meet at 3 in the afternoon. Now, I urge you to invite your friends. You want outsiders to visit us so that they will come under the hearing of the gospel. Then I want 2 individuals to lead you in separate Bible study groups. I appoint Mr. William Moore to lead the men's group and Mrs. Triplett to lead the women of our society. The purpose will be for Bible study, to learn more specifically what the Scriptures teach concerning the great doctrines of the church. These will be separate groups, meeting on Thursday evenings in the various homes as you will decide. Again, I urge you to invite the unsaved to these meetings. And this further word, as you begin more clearly to understand what God tells us in His Word. Whoa! Oh.
I'm glad we finally stopped, Mr. Asbury.
Well, you look a bit tired, John.
Oh, I am. I don't see how you can keep this pace up all the time.
Well, I suppose you just get used to it. I'm never really satisfied unless I'm busy, you know. My father and mother started me off on that. Sometimes I wish I could just sit back and relax, but I'll never be able to do it, I guess.
How much farther are we going to travel, Mr. Asbury? We're almost 200 miles from Baltimore.
Well, I want to reach one more town, John, and then we'll return.
Well, isn't this going to be a very difficult circuit?
Well, it'll be a long one, that's for sure, but certainly not difficult. The terrain here in Maryland isn't the problem it is in other places, and 200 miles isn't too far.
Well, how often do you think you can cover this circuit?
Oh, about every 3 weeks, perhaps. See, there are 2 men who stopped ahead of us. Let's talk to them.
But Mr. Asbury, do you always have to stop and preach to people?
John, let's understand this one thing clearly. Preaching isn't just for churches or meeting houses alone. Preaching is witnessing for Christ wherever we are.
We're glad to have you back with us, Mr. Asbury. We haven't seen much of you lately.
Yes, getting the circuit in operation has taken time.
Is it fully organized now?
Oh, I think so. Mr. Strawbridge is sending some 2 or 3 young men from Falls Creek to help, so it won't demand as much of my time as it has up to now.
How many appointments do you have now?
24. And all of them places where the gospel has never been preached. And we have meeting places now in all 24 locations.
Praise the Lord.
Yes.
Well, we've good news here, too.
What's that?
My house has become too small for our meetings. The people have been following your advice. We've had many visitors, and even a few conversions.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And I learned of a vacant room in the city which we'd like to rent.
Oh, is that right?
Right in the center of the city it is.
Good.
It was formerly a sail loft, but it can be cleaned up and made into a very nice meeting place. Should seat about, 150 people. The rent is very reasonable, too.
Well, this is good news indeed.
We'd like to go ahead with this venture, with your permission, of course.
Oh, that you have, Mr. Moore, most gladly. Why, Mrs. Triplett, you could have come right in. You don't have
I
to...
thought I'd best knock, Mr. Asbury. This letter came for you.
Oh, thank you.
Bad news, Mr. Asbury?
Perhaps. There's some trouble in the north.
Trouble? You mean in politics?
No, it isn't that. It's among some of the workers. This letter's from a co-worker. But if it's of no matter.
I hope it isn't serious.
I'll have to be leaving for the north, Mrs. Triplett. It's rather urgent. If you could get in touch with Mr. Moore, I'd like to see him before I go.
That's a very good report on Maryland, Francis. But it's a fine place to work. I enjoyed my stay there.
Yes. Now we're faced with this problem.
You mean Wright's letter?
Yes. He resents my disciplinarianism, as he puts it. Thinks I'm too strict.
Well...
What do you think, Mr. Pillmore? Do you agree?
Francis, I'm a friend of yours. At least I trust I am.
Well, of course you are.
Then perhaps I can tell you exactly the way I feel about this. I rather agree with Richard Wright.
You do?
Yes. Not for the same reasons, however. But to be perfectly honest... Well, Francis, you are a hard taskmaster. You always work yourself at a feverish pitch, and you expect everyone else to follow suit. And yet that isn't always possible.
I don't understand.
Well, in a sense, you're a militarist. You demand absolute adherence to your code of conduct and action.
But you think that's bad? You think I should make concessions where the gospel is concerned?
No. But in practice, well, there'll always be those who'll resent domination. Francis, there's a spirit of freedom here in the colonies that you don't find in England. And it's carried over into the spiritual realm, too.
But, Mr. Pillmore, I haven't tried to be a dictator.
I know you haven't, Francis. I'm sure it hasn't been intentional. But there's another thing. Your youthfulness. That's inclined to cause resentment among the older workers. Perhaps it's unavoidable. But as I said, quite frankly, I myself find myself resenting some of your orders.
Well, then something is wrong. There shouldn't be resentment on the part of any one of us.
Cheer up, Francis. Perhaps you haven't heard the news. Mr. Wesley is thinking of some changes.
No, I haven't heard.
Well, Captain Webb visited the Leeds Conference in England last summer and went especially to talk with Mr. Wesley. You were in Maryland at the time. He's become alarmed over the growing dissatisfaction here. And I understand a new assistant is being sent, an older man, a disciplinarian like yourself, but one who has a bit more experience in dealing with rebels like ourselves.
I see. Well, who is this new assistant?
His name is Thomas Rankin. He's arriving in Chester in just a few days with Captain Webb. I think you might as well remain here until he comes.
And so we conclude Chapter 11 of Francis Asbury, the story of the Circuit Riders. We are presenting another in a transcribed series of stories of great Christians which come to you from the radio studios of the Moody Bible Institute in Chicago.